Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me here. Uh, I thought that I would start with slight introduction and then move forward to say what it is all about. But when it was government's perspective of AI, when I saw the theme, and Professor Upendra was insisting that I come, I realized today that, what should be, people should know what is happening. So I'll just try to give my week's schedule, this week's schedule, and then try to say what government is trying to do and what government can do. And it is pertinent for the students to hear that, because that's going to be the future, what is going to happen. So on Monday, I was with Secretary DARPG, Department of Administrative Reforms, and we had a workshop on how AI can be used for public grievance settlement. There are multiple problems with respect to logging of public grievance, because a lot of our society live on the other side of digital divide, language divide, and literacy divide. They have problems, they have grievances, but that is not what is getting into the system and getting solved. And on the government side, when they are trying to act as a service provider, they have a bigger challenge. They have a challenge of how does the categorization of the system happen and the categorization of the complaints happen. On Tuesday, we had, we had a session in Agra with the Minister of Panchayati Raj on how AI and allied solutions can be used in panchayats, in governance and in service delivery. On Wednesday, there was a session in which Honorable Minister of State for Administrative Reforms actually addressed with ASSOCHAM, the industry body, on how AI can be used. And, I had a session with respect to the language technology part of it. On Thursday, we had a session in Telangana government, a workshop in Telangana government on how to bridge the language divide and how Digital India Bhashini division can give some, light to it. Yesterday, I was at IIM Raipur. We were discussing how AI can be used in health. And today I am here discussing on AI in media. So, a lot of activities within the country, and this is one individual. There are many such people who are working. And so, there is an extreme focus. The reason I was trying to talk all about it is that I have been into 4 cities this week, and we are discussing and living AI as of now, as far as government is concerned. So please be very energetic about it. So coming back to what I do for living, and then coming back to and then I will talk about what government's perspective or government is trying to do in AI. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Digital India Bhashini Division. Digital India Bhashini Division is a part of Digital India Corporation and the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. And the initiative is about, National Language Translation Mission. Bhashini stands for Bhasha Interface of India, which has a mission of creating artificial intelligence model to translate one language to other. Currently, we are tackling 22 languages. We intend tackling more, but 22 is what's scheduled in the Constitution, so we want to do that. What we have created today is, solved 5 basic problems. First problem is automatic speech recognition. That means computer should understand what I'm speaking. So we have, built AI models which in 22 languages, which make you understand. You can speak to the computer now, and computer will understand what you're speaking. So that's the first problem which we have solved. The second thing which is all about is that if computer has, encoded or text or voice in one language, I need to translate into other. So we have, built up AI translation models for 22 languages, one language to other. And it is, there are AI models which has been out in the market for that. Then the third part of it is that computer should be able to then speak out to you, which is automatic, text-to-speech generation, TTS, as we call it. And that too for 22 languages, which has been done till now. We also have a lot of printed text. The printed text is actually available in the, you scan it and put it across. So there are a lot of printed text which is around. When you scan it, it comes out as a picture. You have to process it to understand it as a text. So there is optical character recognition, for which again a 22 language is our portfolio on which we are working. The fifth problem is that, there are a lot of names, there are a lot digital dictionary of the country. There is a dictionary which Odia language would have, and that language would have unique words. You will not hear, for example, Chena Poda somewhere else. You will hear it only in Odisha. So now the dictionary is there in Odia language, which will be there on paper on people's mind, but the computer does not know it. So one of our job is to create digital dictionary of that language. Given all of this which we have created, we are now embarking to the state governments to help us to build it further. So we signed up with, on 12th of this month, we have signed up with Odisha government to actually ensure that we nurture Odia language, to the maximum extent. We celebrate Odia luminaries, we celebrate the people who are there, and we create and add upon the Odia language thing which is there. Now, how are we going to further use it? This is about translation. So translation, the lowest hanging fruit for translation is website. Your all website should be in 22 languages. Your all video should not be in only English or only Hindi. It should be in your own language. Your document should also be in Odia. So that is the first low-hanging use case which we are looking at. But the use cases are much beyond that, because as you understand that people live on the other side of the language divide, and they have a lot of material which is there, which needs to be, done across the day when they are looking at. So we are, again, doing 4 types of things here. We are implementing systems which transcend the language barrier. For example, banks provide loans to farmers. Those loans are based on the land records. The credit limit is based on the land records. All land records in the states are in vernacular language. What used to happen was that the farmer used to translate it was upon the farmer to translate the land records and take it to the bank who understand English. We created an online system with Reserve Bank of Innovation Hub, where the records get transliterated and is fed to the bank for giving the loans. The other part is increasing productivity. So, for example, the government uses, e-files, e-offices which are there. So what we have done is that we have allowed the e-office to have you can speak and write the noting. Once you can speak and write the noting, there is some errors which you can do. There is a huge improvement in productivity. And those who are familiar with government systems would know that it takes 2 hours to print, get a letter. You dictate it first, then it comes back, then you correct it, then it goes back, and so happens. Another example of increasing productivity is that when you are going to, if those who are familiar with police operations, the investigation officer is called to a, scene of crime, and he goes there and he starts writing something, then he forgets, then he sees something, and it is already chaotic. So we have given an application by which he starts speaking. मैं crime scene में गया, मैंने देखा कि वहाँ पे खंजर पड़ा हुआ था, and it all starts getting transcribing. After going back, it plugs into the system, changes a few of the statements, and then files the report, which used to take 15-20 days there. So that's about increasing productivity. The other thing which is there is that you have digital divide, where people are still not savvy with the computer, and there are section of people who are contributing to the economy but not savvy with the computers. So we came across a case in Rajasthan where nurses were not logging the birth records simply because they were not computer savvy. So after a month, somebody would come who was computer savvy, and he or she would take a lot of pride in putting all the data, but from a governance perspective, data was a month old. So we provided a system by which you are speaking and entering the data into the form. So now the data is getting updated in daily basis. So there is about, tackling the digital divide which was there. Then we are talking about literacy divide. people who don't know how to read and write and how they can work across. So with the current Chief Secretary of Odisha, when he was Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, we worked upon a chatbot, a farmer's chatbot, where the farmer can speak out and ask a question in his own language, and the answer will be given to him in his own language. It was first implemented for PM Kisan Samman Nidhi, where Prime Minister is transferring the money, and the money is not actually getting into the bank account of a certain farmer, and the farmer then asks a question. There are about 12 crore farmers in our country, and even if 1% faced a problem, it was a huge number. And imagine the productivity gain as well as the other things when you are actually looking at, letting him talk to a machine and get the answers immediately rather than going and knocking the doors of the offices. We intend, these are few use cases. If I just start talking about it, railway inquiry system is now multilingual. Railway Madad is now multilingual. Earlier it was only in English and Hindi. It can now support voice. So there are multiple actions by which AI is being used. We created about 340 models, AI models, to support this kind of a system, and this is rendered through a platform called National Hub for Language Technology. Having said that, this is one of the use cases which has already been developed, deployed, and is working. About 100 million hits on the system every day, right? Now, when we have done all of this, there is, now that it comes to the AI, and Government of India launched India AI Mission in March this year. It's a $1.2 billion program, 10,100 crore program for the country. And there, more will be done, okay? So it has got 7 pillars. The first pillar is about, getting compute. So, 25,000 plus GPUs will be available for Indian market to develop, deploy AI systems. And that is for that, the, procurement process is already on, and you would soon hear more about it. The second part of the thing is to create data sets. So there is another pillar called India Dataset Platform, which will be launched in next 2 months, when you will see how the data can be collated and the data sets can be created. As you know, data is a primary driving force for all AI models. Unless you have digital data, AI models will not succeed. To give you an example, when we started this language initiative, we had data only for 6 to 7 languages, digital data. We went onto the market and created those digital data from the market by giving a mobile phone and hiring 200 people who went to the field and asked the people to actually speak out or write and translate, those who wanted to do that. And then we created the digital data and trained the model. That's why when we are collaborating with the state, we are looking for more digital data. So the second pillar is about data, India Dataset Platform. The third pillar is about creating indigenous large language models. And it is closely tied up with, language initiatives which are there. There would be initiatives around it, and we would be looking at multilingual large language model for this country. The fourth pillar is all about creating applications. AI is all about use cases. We can keep creating models, keep creating all the things which are around, but we need to have, applications around it. So those applications will get created. There is next pillar, which is about skills. So there is a huge program of creating AI skills in the country. Then we are talking about startups. So we want to incubate about 2,000 crores is put on bet on startups so that they are able to run and build the system. And the last pillar is about safe and trusted AI. We want AI to be safe and trusted, and, it should follow the mechanisms of, being accountable to what it says. It should not be saying that I have done something, you want to use it, you use it, but I don't own it up. Use it at your own risk is not the way Indian AI system is going to be working. We already have 8 projects given under safe and trusted AI. So this is going to be proliferated. So my urge is that, put out your use cases, on the language and otherwise. We would be very happy to actually support any initiatives which are on language, culture, and AI here. And it's, all the AI development in future is going to happen around use cases. You're not going to actually say that I want to develop another model. Please come up with use cases in the media domain, every domain. If you send me the use cases, we will start seeing how we can address it. So second part of the thing is that build skills on AI, and we would like to organize local hackathons and grand innovation challenges so that you are challenged to think beyond what you are looking and thinking right now and building these things up along with you. And also, one of the focus of this particular mission and the language mission is to move to tier 2 and tier 3 cities. We are not only looking at Bhubaneswar as the key city, but we are looking at going to Cuttack, Sambalpur, all the cities in Rourkela, all the cities which are there, and the villages, so that we are in a position to do two things. One, make AI ubiquitous as far as usage is concerned, and second, take enough use cases into the system so that we leave no person untouched with the AI, because at the end of the day, the way the Industrial Revolution changed our lives, AI will also change our lives. So it is better that we get the people inclusive right now. And colleges, young students are one of the largest vehicles for us to take it forward. So work with us. We will also work with you. Thank you.